I think it's safe to assume 2026 will be one of the biggest years for MSM yet. We have epic magicals, ethereal islets, titan souls, and way more. Last year's prediction wasn't as good as the one for 2024, but I have faith this year I'll do better. And just a quick reminder, I won't be covering anything to do with Dawn of Fire since I don't regularly play that game and don't feel qualified to predict anything about it. Like always, we'll start with the variants, and we have a decent lineup coming this year. We have rare ethereals, epic fire monsters, epic magicals, epic dream mythicals, and epic wublins. We also have epic mimic coming, but I'll be talking about it with the epic fire monsters. For rare ethereals, we have 10 remaining, and they'll likely be releasing in the order their common counterparts released, meaning the order we'll get them is Flask, Whale, Piplash, Vention, Exert, Pentumbra, Teeter-Totter, Rismuth, Ugidi, then Bemeebith. The time between releases is unpredictable since we've only had one new rare ethereal on Workshop since their release in Anniversary Month, but if we were to predict, I'd guess they'd release one every 2 to 3 seasonal events. I'd predict we get Rare Flask around Crescendo Moon or Season of Love, and continue from there. For Epic Fire Monsters and Epic Mimic, we'll be getting each with one of their corresponding Fire expansion sales. We have 4 remaining Epic Fire Monsters as well as Epic Mimic, and we can determine when these monsters will release with almost 100% certainty. Each quint is available twice a year, excluding special promotions, but I think most will likely release when their island's seasonal event occurs. Taking everything into consideration, I think we'll get Epic Bowhead in January, Epic Tuskski in March, Epic Mimic in May or November, Epic Dromedary in June, and Epic Gnarls in October. Epic Magicals are still pretty new, but I do think we could see them fairly regularly compared to the Rare Magicals. When the Rare Magicals were first releasing, we only got 4 to 5 each year, but over the course of 2024 and 2025, we got nearly 30. I mean, we got 19 in 2025 alone. It felt like they wanted the Rare Magicals to be an infrequent release, but after 3 years they realized, oh yeah, we need to release 43 of these, and made a speed run to the finish line in 2025. I think we can expect around 8 or 9 of them each year. It would still take around 5 years to finish, but at least we wouldn't get a year as saturated as 2025 was. For Epic Dream Mythicals, we have a defined release schedule. The Epic will release during their regular mythical counterparts' Base Island seasonal event. In layman's terms, we'll get Epic Sporo in Season of Love, Epic Pinghound in Extravaganza, Epic Schlepp in Perplexplore, and Epic Weasel in Summer Song. When it comes to Epic Catalyst, I'm pretty sure we'll get it in Anniversary Month since we'll have to get it with a new mechanic. Since Catalyst has to be used in every breeding combination, if they made Epic Catalyst breedable, it would go against the established rule that all epics are bred using different species than their common counterpart. Finally, we have Epic Wublins, which have been following a pretty consistent schedule, releasing every other month at the start of the first event of that month. The only exception was Epic Blipsqueak, which released in Beat Hereafter rather than Spooktical, but that was likely influenced by the end of Anniversary Month and the release of Paranormal Carnival. There are 10 remaining, and I'd expect we'd see 6 this year, at the start of Crescendo Moon, Echoes of Eco, Life Formula, Mind Boggle, and I assume Beat Hereafter, but it could be Spooktical depending on Anniversary Month's finale, as well as Festival of Yay. This is something I got really wrong in my last year's prediction, expecting they'd release more frequently, but I think it's pretty safe to assume both remaining Titan Souls will release this year. I'd expect we get the Fairy Island Titan Soul in Season of Love, and the Bone Island Titan Soul in Spooktical, or Beat Hereafter. Titan Souls have been named after flowers that start with the same letter as their respective Titan, so my guess for Fairy Island would be Facodal Fuchsia. Other plants I could think of were Ficus or Flax. And for Bone Island, I think it will be Necrotic Nyctanthus, or Nigella. With the release of Paranormal Carnival, we now have a better idea of what to expect for Paironormals. We are currently missing 3 double element Paironormals, 3 triple element Paironormals, and the quad Paranormal. Due to us getting both the major and minor versions of these monsters at the same time, we'll probably only get 1 new Paranormal per wave. I also assume we'll get 1 every month or 2. This is the biggest failure of last year's prediction, but I honestly feel like I wasn't completely wrong. These aren't islands, these are islets. When I said I don't think MSM would dedicate 5 new islands to the ethereal elements, I was referring to full colossals or titans with new names, backstories, etc., and 15 ethereals from the elements of their respective quads. My main argument against this was because the first teaser was on Ethereal Workshop, there wouldn't be enough Ethereal Workshop representation, with only 5 of the 15 monsters being from Workshop. With the islets, we have 7 of the 12 being from Workshop. Right now, we have 3 of the 5 islets, with only Crystal and Poison islets left. My guess is we'll likely get Crystal Islet around Extravaganza or Life Formula, and Poison Islet and Spooktical or Beat Hereafter. In terms of the primordials, they've been appearing on the islets in the same order of how stable the element is compared to the price of the primordials' respective currency pack. The order of the elements in stability order is Plasma, Shadow, Mech, Crystal, Poison, while the order of the currency packs is Lobe, Fandle, Bogle, Droa, Tunifor, meaning we'll likely get Droa on Crystal Islet and Tunifor on Poison Islet. This one is pretty straightforward. We'll be getting new seasonal costumes for the auxiliary seasonal events. We probably won't receive any more costumes for the core seasonal events, except the trio set for the 3 variants of the seasonal, and likely a Wubbox costume for Season of Love and Extravaganza. But other than that, the core seasonal events already have tons of costumes. We will still receive a decent number of costumes for the auxiliary seasonal events though. It's been teased for over a year now that Mimic will be going to another island. Which island that is undetermined. Everyone thinks it's going to be Natural Island, where all naturals appear, but I'm pretty sure what they're referring to is Mirror Fire Island. I'll talk about this in the speculation section. Before we get into the main course of the speculations, we need to go over the teasers we got in the Jumpstart January video. The first is pictures of moving water, shades of blue, and shells, and I'm pretty sure this is tied to the More the Merrier sale teaser. This will likely be an epic magical, specifically one from Light or Fairy Island. The second teaser is a partial silhouette of a monster. This monster will also release January 14th. It's hard to tell what this monster is, but all signs point to this monster being Epic Bowhead. Not only is Bowhead the featured quint in the January Fire expansion, but the January Celestial is the Celestial of Water. Epic Candelabra was released 7 days after the start of their respective Fire expansion, and guess what day is 7 days after the start of the January Fire expansion? January 14th. When the monster handlers were talking about it, they also said it had luscious locks and was very front heavy, so it's definitely Bowhead. The third teaser is part of a monster's bio. It says it was exposed too long to a strange energy, and there's one word in the bio that stands out. Disharmonious. Disharmonious? Sounds familiar? I think this could be either referring to Rare Flask, Rare Whale, or Rare Lobe. I'm leaning towards Rare Flask though. The fourth teaser is just a variety of instruments that the new monster could play. The theremin, the toha, the stylophone, and the bass flute. Likely implying this is a new monster, and I'm pretty sure this is either the Fairy Island Titan Soul or a Paranormal. For the instrument it will play, I don't think it will be the theremin. It doesn't really fit Fairy Island's song, and we already have Harry Annette as our theremin on Carnival. The bass flute seems most likely for either option, but if it's the Titan Soul, it could also be the toha, and if it's the Paranormal, it could be the stylophone. Each new year brings new variant classes, and I think we can expect 2 new variant classes, Rare Paranormals and Rare Primordials. Rare Primordials are technically confirmed, but this is more so about whether they'll release this year, or not. I suspect they'd start releasing a month or 2 after all 5 common Primordials are released, and since we've determined the last 2 Ethereal Islets could release this year, it's very likely Rare Primordials will release this year too. Rare Paranormals is much more of a speculation. With 7 still to release, it's possible not all Paranormals will release this year. There's also the possibility we don't get variations for the Paranormal class at all, due to their minor form kind of acting like a variant, similar to how Adult and Elder Celestials act like rare and epic variants. I do still believe we'll get Rare Paranormals at some point, whether that's this year or next is uncertain. This is less of a what to expect and more of a what not to expect. I'm pretty sure this is not the year we get Elder Celestials on Celestial Island. and I have more than just a gut feeling. You do need to remember that these are elders. The mechanic to get adult Celestials is instantaneous, but realistically the Celestials needed time to age. Celestial Island released June 2018, and adult Celestials were introduced 5 years later, August 2023. I think realistically we should expect Elder Celestials on Celestial Island 5 years after adult Celestials were added. You have to remember that Elder Celestials are very important to the MSM lore, and I think Big Blue Bubble need to finalize that lore before they start adding monsters with very heavy lore implications. These monsters were around before the beginning of the monster world, and right now, this part of the lore is very vague, and their additions will likely clear it up. There's also the topic of what monsters elders will require, and having more monsters to choose from will allow them to have insane inventory requirements. Adult Celestials felt difficult with seasonals, fire monsters, and rares. Imagine elders requiring ethereals, paranormals, legendaries, epics, and whatever new classes are added in the future. I think it's pretty obvious that we'll be getting an island dedicated to Blizzard. It's the cold island equivalent of Sugarbush, so it's only natural that it'd get an island similar to Sugarbush Island. In terms of the seasonal we could expect on the island, it would have to be an auxiliary seasonal, currently only on one island outside of Shanty, meaning our candidates are Clavavera, Carolong, Fiddle, Spirit, Whizbang, and Bookworm. Remember, Jamboree is a seasonal, not an aux seasonal. Plus, I doubt Jamboree will ever go to another island unless we get another seasonal island. Ones we can immediately rule out are Clavavera, Fiddle, Whizbang, and Bookworm, because I doubt Blizzard Island will be based on death, plants, colors, or books, leaving us with Carolong and Spirit, and I think Carolong would fit it best design-wise, with it being a dragon, but since this island will likely release during the seasonal's respective event, Spirit makes more sense, since May is a more realistic time frame for this island's release. Because unless Big Blue Bubble have already finished Blizzard Island, it will not be releasing in 2 months. Approximately, I'm not sure when Crescendo Moon will start this year due to how late Lunar New Year is this year. Spirit also makes sense because Blizzard is a pretty eccentric monster, and what seasonal is more eccentric than Spirit? I brought this up last year, but I have higher hopes this time. There's decent evidence that the Fire Islands will be getting mirror versions. The Mirror Islands cost diamonds increasing by 100 in the map order, starting with Mirror Plant at 100 diamonds, ending with Bone at 1000, but there's currently no Mirror Island that costs 600 diamonds. And what do you know, the Fire Islands are located perfectly between Mirror Earth costing 500 and Mirror Light costing 700. There's 2 potential options with Mirror Fire Island. The first is we get 2 Mirror Fire Islands, one for both Haven and Oasis, costing 600 diamonds. The second option, and the one I'm most hoping for, is we get a single Mirror Fire Island. Since I'm pretty sure we'll never get a Mirror Amber Island, it would be interesting to explore if the Fire Colossal Spirit wasn't split up. In the main timeline, the Fire Colossal Spirit is split up between Fire Haven, Fire Oasis, and Amber Island. The Mirror timeline has been getting major updates, and Fire Haven and Fire Oasis are heavily tied to the main timeline. Completely changing the Fire Islands to have a different story would help differentiate it from the main timeline Fire Islands. The Mirror Islands are always merged to a counterpart. The Mirror Natural Islands each have traces of their respective ethereal element, and the Mirror Magical Islands are merged with their respective outer island from Dawn of Fire. Now, Fire's counterpart is electricity, and there's a very nice connection that can be made here. The stand-in Hex element monster is Wubox, who's also the mascot electricity monster. Now, I know this won't happen, but if we do only get one Mirror Fire Island that merges fire and electricity, I'd hope it consists of the 6 natural elements plus fire. This would be insane. You'd have 63 monsters and would definitively make Wubox the natural Hex Big Blue Bubble have always said it is, making it the perfect way of merging fire and electricity. I think they'd make Wubox breedable, but would still be placed in its dormant state, requiring boxing. Having Wubox be breedable on this island would also allow Elder Galvana to require it. And that's everything you can expect in My Singing Monsters for 2026. Now, I do have some bad news for the future of my channel. I'll be going back to college in just over a week as of this video being published, meaning I likely won't have any time to make a new video, but if time allows it, I'll try to make at least one video while I'm in college. My first semester ends in April, but I'm not sure when it picks back up, but we'll see.